Tyrone was killed March 8th, 1979. And if you reverse that back in numbers, that's 8-3. So I was just putting the semblance together on the day that he was killed.
People in this community still very much intimidated.
All right, I want to ask you about your pre-60 days, when you guys first landed on Arlington. What was the makeup of the neighborhood back then? Do you remember as a child?
Oh yeah. Now when we first moved over here in 70, it wasn't really like no gangs over here. We was a family because my mother and them was all from the South. And I think we was trying, we all wanted to be from the Rollin Avenues. Rollin Avenues was a dance organization that Sandra had started, and it was on 2nd Avenue. Between 2nd Avenue and 3rd Avenue, she had a house. And so back then, everybody used to be drumming. Like, you know, it used to be marching bands, and people would be marching down Vermont, and you had to, you know, get the big wheels and all that stuff. And we wanted to all be a part of Rollin Avenue. So I think it was P.D. Wack, Cousin Kerry, everybody was all a part of Rollin Avenue. It wasn't no 60s yet. The hood didn't come to the Rollin 60s as a gang, and the name didn't come to like 73, 74. It's kind of like a wobble on when that started. But when we moved over here, we was already saying Crip, because in the area where we grew up at, we grew up over there, was already saying Crip, and it was already saying Hoover, and it meant something different. So we got here, the homies wasn't here yet, and then Vanness Park didn't have no structure, nothing. And I think Big Bunchy was from Fruittown Brim. So it was like Fruittown Brim was in Vanness Park. The 60s was on the verge of being formed, like it was just Westside Crips. And then it was Westside Crips and it was Neighborhood Crips. And the Neighborhood Crips was like down the line on the other side, like on the Vanness, like more towards where eventually like the hood took over. It was Neighborhood Crips and Westside Crips. And shit, kind of like Big Bunchy ran the park. He did run the park. He used to be right there working on his car all the time. And then what's funny is, we was coming up, growing up, I always see Bunchy like telling dudes who could come in and who could come in the park and who could come in and who couldn't come in. And my uncle and them came in the park one time and they was talking to my uncle and them. But my uncle and them, you gotta remember, these dudes is like straight country dudes, like don't have no understanding for nothing. So they was like, well shit, if it's gonna be a problem about who come in this park, then I mean y'all gonna leave, because we live across the street. And that's 10 brothers. And 7 of them lived in California, 7 brothers. And they all come from a fighting, everybody in our family like did that. All my uncles been to prison, so it was like no stranger when I went to prison. And they all had partners. So if you got 10 real brothers and they all got partners, that means you damn near got an army. So it had a little words, and then I know we had got sent home, but we had got sent home across the street, but we stood right there and watched. And when they came in the park, it was a total understanding that when these kids come from this house, come across the street to this park, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to them.
So you grew up playing in this park?
I grew up in this park all my life, yeah. I played baseball here, football here. Me, Cousin Kerry, Keita Rock, all of us played here. Holly Rock, Sway, all of us, Benzo, Jeff, we all grew up. I played every sport in this park.
So you guys know all the B&Gs from this park?
Yeah. We grew up with them. Me, Ase Kapone, Ace Bone. Shit, we used to go, me and Ace Bone, we just flop houses. I spent out at Ace Kapone on Death Row, spent out at his grandmother's house, and shit, he spent out at my mama's house. That's how we grew up.
So how did that work out when you guys turned 60s and they turned B&Gs? How did that play out?
Man, that was crazy. Like, it's crazy that you say that, because me and Fat Fred was best friends. Like, out of all of them was me and Fat Fred. And we didn't really want to be caught up in the gang banging, the cripping thing. So we was players, man. We used to go to all the parties. We was hustlers though. We consider ourselves at that time hustlers. It was Big D, F Bone, Slim, Capone was the head of the head was the car. Rest in peace, Benzo, Benzo Jeff, Big F Bone, Smooth, Paul. And then all the little ones that came under that. Fat Donnie was with us. Oh, without a doubt, my road dog Lee Mack, GB, Big Sleep Rock. Shit, man, I'd be remiss. I know I'm forgetting at least 10 people, but
all these dudes lived on AG.
Well, no, all of us didn't. I never lived on AG, but you know, so I never lived over there. Big D lived on Vanness around the corner, but the ones who actually lived on the AG was the Sparks brothers, Andre Sparks, and who was it? The Sparks brother lived on AG. Big F Bone lived on AG. Slim, Benzo, Smooth lived around the corner. Big D lived around the corner. Anthony Washington and all them lived around the corner. Second down. Anthony Washington, Paul, Lil Chili Capone, which is Big Monk, rest in peace, brother. And so everybody kind of lived in and around the block. They was blessed. I should say they was blessed because I never lived over here. So I was fighting coming over here, fighting getting back home. They was, you know, it was, and they all got to go to school together. All this bull crap, I was always by myself. That's what made me Big U.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how we ended up being called ourselves the Arlington Gang, man. I mean, to be honest with you, it probably was Capone, because Capone, I was just a soldier. You know, I wasn't making no decisions. Capone was making all the decisions. You know, if we had a problem, we was going to Capone. We used to all play basketball every day at 59th Street School. And Capone was the oldest out of all of us, out of all his cousins. And we was basically we was the AGs, we was off Arlington. And it was fun, it was beautiful. And like I said, our families was there. So coming to Vanness Park was what we used to do, hang out. We used to play basketball. We danced together. We did the pop lock-in. We did the cruise, and I mean, we traveled everywhere. I think we was the difference in what the homies was, because in the AGs, we went to all the different parties. We went everywhere it was a party. We went, if it was a party, a picnic, whatever have you, we was gonna be there, we was gonna show up. After 79, we wasn't playing with nothing no more. It wasn't kind of like we wasn't even trying to come in the park no more. It was after that everything started getting defined. So around about like 80, 81, me and Fat Fred, we was all still partners, we was all still cool, but we had changed on our side. Because after Rennie got killed, it wasn't like they changed more than we changed. We had became hardened because we start, you know, you at war. Now you finally seeing what death is, somebody dying, and you understanding, like, you know, it's different. Like, man, look, we on some other shit, y'all. We was the one changed, they wasn't the ones changed.
So it wasn't no passes given out or what?
Yeah, it was passes given out. Shit, it was major passes. I mean, but so good. All the homies used to come over to roll with us because we always went out. We was at every party, we was at every club, we knew where every function we was there. And it was funny because dudes would be like, where y'all from? And we like, we from the AG. And like, man, what's that? We're like, man, it's the AG, man, ain't no what's that. Then it's like, well, where is that at? Man, it's on Slauson in Arlington. Oh, well, y'all from the 60s. All right, fuck it, man. What is it, a problem? And then they would go from there. If it was a problem, we was gonna meet it. I mean, we was in fact the reason why World Wheel Skate Ring jumped the way it did, and we was the one that took the homies, that made it so the homies had to come, because, you know, we was definitely gonna show up and show out because this is where the girls was.
Who was the first out the crew to turn hood?
Turn the hood?
Yeah.
First out the AG.
The first out the AG would be me, probably. It would either be me or Slim, because me and Capone used to be mad at me, my big cousin. So he wouldn't let me ride in the car. So a lot of times when and he was my first cousin, and we looked just alike. So he was mad at me, so it would only be him, Big D, so all the homies that could ride. So that would leave me and Slim stuck on the block. So we like, fuck it, when the homies went places, we was like the homies, we couldn't go, so we go around we go on 2nd Avenue. And we'd go on 2nd Avenue, hang out. And then I remember one day, Big Cat came. Big Cat had came on Arlington, right? And we was the only ones on Arlington. It was us, it was me, Slim, and Kevin Doucette, Big Cat. We was scared of Big Cat. Man, Big Cat had to be the biggest motherfucker on planet Earth. Big old light-skinned motherfucker. Big Cat was my size now, man, and we was little dudes. I mean, Big Cat came on Arlington, was like, y'all gonna be from 60s. Like, we ain't gonna be from 60s. And the homies used to always cross the AG out. They was like, man, y'all start writing this shit in the hood. Don't write this shit no more. They'd cross AG out. We definitely could not cross 60s out. That was not gonna happen. But you know, we'll bang it out one time and they'd come over there to fuck us up. You know, whatever. But Big Cat, we was petrified of Big Cat. No question. No question of that. So Cat came over there. He like, man, we finna go, we got a meeting, we finna go over here. So Cat was talking to me and Slim, he like, man, we need some tools. Like, nigga, we got all the tools you can ever, you know what I'm saying, ask for. So Cat was talking to him, he like, man, come on, we like, fuck, we finna go over there. So we go in the back, grab some tools. Cat like, goddamn, y'all got all them? Like, yeah, man, let's go. And so we like, fuck it, you go around the thing. We go with Cat, we end up in a G-Ride. I'm like, no, bro, we don't need you to show us this. We got this. But anyway, long story, moving right on. But then it was like, so now every time, the homies like, man, the homies like, go get Dante and Slim, go get Dante and Slim. I didn't even have a name. It was like, go get Dante. So, and I think it kind of went from that, and it was like, when it was certain things, especially with fighting. Now that's how we really got on, because when the homies went places, like in Cinderella Park, when Big Roach and Big Snoop them, we'd go to Cinderella Park, and they would make us carry the tools in the bag and walk 2 blocks in front of them, because we was a young dude. So we had to be in front of them when we walking to Cinderella Park, or we was going somewhere, and we had the bags, we'd be in front of all the big homies, and then if something going on, they'd whistle, and we had to run back, and of course, you know, going from there. And then the homies used to make us go to Marty's liquor store and use our auntie and them credit at the liquor store to get them cigarettes, alcohol, all kind of shit.
Who were the heavy hitters from the hood when you were growing up?
The people, let me say, who I used to look up to coming up, T-Manual. T-Manual, Babyface, Big Snoop, Roach. I mean, you know, everybody else was kind of like our age, but I don't think nobody did like T-Manual. T-Manual was the one I kind of like felt like, and my big homie was Keith Stone. But it was the first person I used to look up to was T-Manual. We used to always want to go to T-Manual house, because T-Manual was just on some different shit. T-Manual he was what you wanted to be like. He had the pimp status, he had all the cars. So for me it was T-Manual, you know what I mean? And then as we really started banging real hard, it would have been Snoop, because Big Snoop was the general. I watched Snoop actually plan an attack, and I was just in awe how he really kind of carried himself and how he did what he did. And it was like we learned something from everybody. Yeah, that's the skate we used to go to. That we used to go to when we was in Horseman. That was my first time going there, and we got into it with the Hoovers. I mean, I don't think we ever got along with the Hoovers in my whole existence. And this had to be like 79, even before we was fighting A-Track Gangsters. The homies get into it with the Hoovers, and the homies and the Hoovers got into it in the skate ring. And I remember we squabbling, and dude pulled out a blade, and I mauled him from behind because he on whack. And ever since he was on PD whack. Wagner had kicked it off, and I mauled the dude, and we ended up taking it. And then it was like every incident like that made them like, where the AGs at? Where the little dudes are claiming AG? So it was like, we'll be places and the homies will see us get down, and then the homies will just like, go get them little dudes. When it's time to get down, go get the little dudes off the AG.